What's up everybody, Extramillion here once again with Totally Sick Final Fantasy VII Edition, and in this episode we have just started Disc 3, and our only real objective is to make it to the bottom of the northern crater to fight Sephiroth. Just there we picked up the save crystal, which is the only item that we're allowed to use. It allows you to create a save point at any point in the dungeon, so obviously you'll want to use it at the very bottom before you fight Sephiroth. In this part, when it asks you to split your characters, you'll want to keep two characters with Cloud and have them head left, and then send everyone else right, and then select down when it splits again. Basically, the reason the game does this is so that you can send all the characters in different directions, and they will collect items for you when you meet them again at the bottom. Once we do reach the bottom, we'll obviously use the save crystal, and then save. And then we'll want to head all the way back up to the first split, and then head right this time, and then go to this spiral column or tower, where we will learn the second to last enemy skill in the game that we will use from this enemy called the Pollen Salta. You want to manipulate her, and then have her use her enemy skill called Angel Whisper. It allows you to fully bring a character back from the dead and fully restore their HP. And actually, they don't even have to be dead to use the fully restore HP effect. So now we can finally bring all of our characters back from the dead at will, for the cost of about 50 MP. And then, of course, kill off the other two characters and have Cloud be the only survivor, and that will be the last amount of experience points that we will earn in the game. So we have reached our level cap. All of the characters should be either level 30 or below. Then make your way all the way down to fight the first of 3 bosses. Obviously keep using Frog Song on all the enemies, and then run away whenever you can, because they're way too tough for you to actually beat. Then once you reach the very bottom, you will fight Sephiroth's mother, Jenova, for the last time. This fight is called Jenova Synthesis. And much like a lot of the battles that we fought, this boss has a main body and then a few other separate parts. If you can, try to get the first move and cast Big Guard. As you can see, I didn't. And as you can see, the tentacles do a shitload of damage. But if you don't need to heal yourself, this first little sequence will go fairly quickly. I kind of make the battle drag on for a little while because I waste too much time having to replenish my MP and heal myself and cast Big Guard and all that, so it just takes a little longer than it should. Jenova has 60,000 HP, and then she has 2 little arms. The one on the right has 10,000 HP, and the one on the left has 8,000. She also has several attacks that she can use when both tentacles are present, and then she has attacks that she can use when one tentacle is present but not the other one, so it changes a bit. When everything is alive, she can use one tentacle slap has a chance of inflicting silence, which is obviously very bad, because that means we can't use enemy skills. And the other one has a chance of inflicting fury, which means that your character's limit breaks will build faster, but your attacks will miss more often, and we can't afford for Aqua Lung or Magic Hammer to miss. So basically you just have to get really lucky and hope that you don't get any status effects inflicted upon you. Essentially for this beginning part, you'll just want to cast Aqua Lung until both of the arms are dead. And then once they are both down, you'll want to just use regular attacks on the main body. Obviously heal yourself when you can. Use Magic Hammer on either the body or the 2 little nodules on the side to replenish your MP. The main body and the 2 arms have 600 MP apiece, so you have quite a bit of magic to work with. Just use Magic Hammer whenever your MP gets below about 100 or so, and you should be fine. Now, her other attack, as you saw there, was Bio 2, which inflicts poison, so you'll need to get that off of there with White Wind. If the right tentacle is dead, but the left one is alive, she can use Cure 3. And if it's vice versa, she can use Stop. So obviously you'll want to kill them as quickly as possible. Now, she can revive them after some period of time, but as a detriment to that, the tentacle's health will be reduced to 25% of their original. So it will be 2,000 and 2,500, which means that you can take them out with just 3 uses of Aqua Lung. So if your characters don't need to use Magic Hammer or heal, you can just have them use 3 Aqua Lungs, and then the tentacles will go back down, and then Jenova won't be able to attack you anymore. So really, as you can see, this battle is basically a test in paying attention to a lot of different factors. Obviously, when the arms are down, you can't steal MP from them. So once you run out of MP in the body, you basically have to wait for the arms to come back in order to steal magic from them. But that also means that you'll waste a turn casting Magic Hammer while the arms are alive, which means that they will get 1 turn to attack you. So you essentially need to cycle between healing and having big guard up, and then getting MP that way, and then cycling between that and just full-on straight-up attacking. So obviously try to keep track of how many times you've used Magic Hammer on the main body is the most important one. Of course, use your limit breaks when you get them. Another good thing is that when both the arms are down, the body's magic defense and physical defense will be lowered, so your attacks will do a bit more damage. If you do need to use Magic Hammer while one of the arms are alive, definitely make sure you have Big Guard on, because you can always count on at least 1 tentacle attack getting hit in there, and if you don't have Big Guard, as you saw at the beginning of the battle, the tentacle slaps will do nearly 1,000 damage. In fact, later on in this fight, I do have to revive Cloud because he does die. You should also heal yourself if a character takes if a character takes 2 hits, because the third one will kill them, even if they are under Big Guard. But like I said, basically just pay attention to your health, pay attention to your MP, especially your MP, because you'll obviously want to use a character. Like right now, if I needed to cast Big Guard, I would want to have either Yuffie or Cloud do it, because it costs 56 MP, and Barrett's MP is very low. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the fight that Jenova Synthesis has 60,000 HP, and you might be thinking, well, that's kind of a lot. I mean, that's as much as that Proud Clod robot had in the previous video. Well, fortunately for us, we don't have to actually take down all 60,000 HP, because once you get Jenova Synthesis, the main body, down to below 15,000 HP, she will begin a 5-turn countdown, and at the end of those 5 turns, she will cast the spell Ultima. If she is able to do this, most likely it would kill all of the characters, but the battle would still end instantly if you have 1 character alive. But if she is able to do this, you don't get any experience points or AP for your Materia at the end of the battle, which is how we're going to skip getting experience points for this battle. The secondary nice effect of that being that you won't have to worry about killing off any characters and leaving 1 alive or any of that nonsense. You know, for these last 3 battles against Jenova and Sephiroth, we won't have to worry about doing any of that, thank God. But anyway, she is only able to cast Ultima if she has magic, obviously. So once the countdown begins, As soon as you see the little 5 appear at the top of the screen, you'll just want to spam Magic Hammer until she has no more MP anymore. And then at the end of the 5 turns, it will say Genova Synthesis, skill points are all used up, or whatever it says when they're out of magic, and then the battle will just instantly end. So we essentially only have to take her down to around 45,000 instead of the whole 60. And then, of course, when the countdown begins, you are free to heal your characters, use Magic Hammer on the body and the little nodules, the tentacles, to restore all your MP in preparation for the next fight. So as you can see right now, I'm anticipating that the tentacles are going to come back soon, so I cast Big Guard on myself. Unfortunately, I cast Aqua Lung a little too soon, but that's okay because it still does quite a bit of damage. Right now, the body should have almost no MP left. As you can see with the amount of attacks that I have taken over the course of this fight, it's a real miracle that no status effect beyond Poison when she cast Bio 2 was actually inflicted upon me. You know, I never got Fury or Silence once, which is great because I had one fight where all the characters had Fury inflicted upon them, and I just couldn't ever replenish my magic because Magic Hammer kept missing, and then I had to constantly keep healing myself, and then I eventually just ran out of MP and died because I didn't have enough MP to do anything else other than heal, and then eventually I didn't even have enough to do that because I either had to heal myself or I had to waste a turn casting Magic Hammer and hope that it connected. Now, later on in this fight, I think it's coming up in just a second, but Cloud will take a bit too much damage and he'll die. And then I have to revive him with Angel Whisper. Of course, this means that once he revives, he will no longer have haste. That's not too tough because right now I'm about to get rid of the tentacles. So I'll need to cast Big Guard on myself anyway when he comes back, so that's not too much of a big deal. But as you can see, his ATB bar is moving much slower than Barret or Yuffie's. The reason that I'm using Barret is basically just a change of pace. You know, I'd been using Kate Sith for so long that... I mean, technically Kate Sith has more HP than Barret does right now, but it really doesn't matter. I just had been using him for so long that I decided to switch it up. And then, in fact, in the next battle, I'll use Sid, just so you guys can see his HD character model that I got over the break when I was not making these videos for about a year or so. Now, I'm doing these battles at sort of the upper end of the level limit. All of my characters, I think the lowest level character is Yuffie, who's at level 28, but everyone else is either 29 or 30. I think in the very first video I said I'll try not to have anyone go over 30, and, you know, I achieved that, which is a miracle. But I think I've actually seen people do as low as like 23 or 24 is like the lowest level I've ever seen anyone beat. Unless, of course, you count some of the videos of people doing modded runs where you can beat the game as like a level 7 Tifa or whatever. But obviously that's not possible to achieve normally. And actually, I'll go into a greater detail in the next video, or well, the final video rather, in the fights with Sephiroth. But the game actually makes it easier on you the lower your level is, and since my levels are as low as they can possibly be, the next couple of fights with Sephiroth should actually be fairly easy. Well, except for the fact, of course, that he's the final boss of the game. But other than that, it should be fairly easy. So, there's the countdown, finally. As you can see, you basically just spam Magic Hammer until the Genova's main body is out of MP, and then you can just sit back and relax because the battle will end and you'll earn no experience points, and you'll immediately move on to the final 2 battles with Sephiroth. So just sit back and relax. I could have used these turns to get more MP, but I mean it really doesn't matter because of a special reason that I'll go into in the next video. But other than that, this battle is done, and I will see you guys next time.